When we first put in the first dog park in the city, the first thing our community board told us was, we are not rule enforcement. I mean, we're not law enforcement, but it was our job as a community to post the rules and encourage the responsible use of the run. So that we always put it back to our dog run group, that it's the community's job to monitor the run. I forgot your name?
Andrew.
Andrew. And what Andrew was talking about is what's critical. Like the groups that are able to do this always build a community. It could be having a free Yahoo News group and have events and make sure everyone in your dog park comes and joins that news group, because that becomes peer pressure. Have seminars, bring in dog training
things for your dogs.
It sounds like you're going to only speak to the converted, but it's important to speak to those people because that information gets out. In 2001 and 2002, we did an informal survey at Tompkins of over the number of dogs that were injured and brought to the vet. So over that 24-month period, we had 67 dogs brought to the vet. It was almost a dog a week. And it became really important that we get a handle on the number of dogs being injured. So we did something like we put up one of the first Yahoo News groups, we brought in a professional photographer, photographed everyone's dog at the run as an event day. Folks then had to subscribe to the news group to see their pictures. Once we got like 100 active members on that news group, you were able to get education out there. Those folks didn't feel alone. They could now go up and talk to people and say, you're about 5 minutes away from a fight. And then a bunch of people would say, yeah, it's time to pull your dog up. It won't work if it just falls to 1 or 2 people or just to like the core volunteer committee. So you really got to build that community.
Thanks. I'm Catherine Winningham from the Union Square run. Some of us, Washington Square, Union Square, we have a police presence right there. You've got the command.
Nobody's in there. Nobody's in. Nope.
We've got Transit District 4. I don't. There may be other parts that already have a police presence. I would strongly recommend for people with this kind of problem where there's really somebody you do want to bar, you make continued reports to the precinct. We had an incident where I talked to the PEP officers. They have to witness the incident. They're not going to stake it out. But we had a dog that's not using the dog run, but is vicious outside of the run, attacking other dogs. What you want to do is go to the local precinct, report it to them. If they haven't got a complaint, and they don't witness it, they can't do anything. So I would say if it's at that level of violence, you ought to be dealing with the police anyway. Other runs that are located like in highly touristed areas where it's a real problem on the weekends, once the weather gets nice, say it's amateur hour, where you get people who don't know what the rules are, their dogs aren't socialized, they may be bringing them in from the suburbs.
Yeah,
that's
their kids.
And their strollers.
And their strollers. And the food in the
Again,
strollers.
you have to remember, you don't have legal authority to ban them. And if you do, you will get in trouble, and they won't.
That's happened.
And that's happened. It's happened, I think, at the PAC, didn't it? Where you tried, some drunks came in your run and you tried to kick them out, and the police got angry at you. And it is an internal policy of the Parks Department. It is not a law, it is not a rule, it is a policy within the department that there will be, when you get a dog park, generally, you will lose off-leash. It makes sense. You have Washington Square Park. You can't have off-leash. You can't have it in Tompkins. It's impractical. But you take a park like Pelham, which is both. They have one dog park, but it's a huge park. Marianne, how many acres you have?
Over 2,700.
I mean, you couldn't do it. In Marine Park, Brooklyn, they have a group that wanted a dog park. The community board, in a rare instance, voted unanimously for a dog park. They were going to build it. And then they said they're getting rid of off-leash there. And what are they, 550 in Marine Park? So the community board and the dog owners said, never mind, we'll keep off-leash.
I'm Christine, I'm from a Cannon Dog Run, and we had an incident where we had a fatality in our dog run because of another dog. And why we don't have the right to ban somebody. What we did is we had a lawyer draft a letter telling this person that their behavior was not responsible in the dog run. And we listed what had happened. And then we said that the community knows about this. And that we recommend that you don't bring your dog in when there are other dogs. Or that your dog has muzzle. And that we told them we were sharing this letter community-wide, and we delivered it to them. And the person stopped coming for a dog run. So we went from the guise of being a responsible dog user.
We've been talking a lot about legal issues, and I know I'm interrupting, but we've been really focusing on legal issues with the rules. There's one other law. It's a law we have on the books that applies to every dog run, and it's civil law, which states that in New York State, every owner is financially and legally responsible for the actions of their dog. So what that means is if your dog injures another dog in the dog park, you are financially liable. At Tompkins, that is the #1 rule on the gate. So what we also do, and I think every dog park needs to do this, is to circulate a brochure telling everyone how they file a claim in small claims court. Because the best way to combat problem owners is by bringing them to court.